I'm taking location suggestions. If you want to nominate a place or you know a good place to have the next James Show listener meetup, it's not just so you can meet me, it's so y'all can meet each other. And so 50 of y'all can meet Samantha, apparently. But I'm looking for a place that has a WBAP listener that's either the owner or runs the joint. So manager, general manager, whatever that means. I just want to go to a place that knows us and loves us and will be welcomed with open arms. And plus, I would like to keep it in the family. If we're going to give some free promotion and business to someone, it needs to be someone in our family. So if you know a place, I am not picky about where it's at. I've already done Richardson and Plano and Fort Worth, and we did Dallas last weekend. So let's look for any place. I'll even repeat a city there if I find a good place. Just let me know. Send me an email, james@wbap.com, or find me on Facebook. You know how to find me. All right. Are India and Pakistan on the verge of war? There was a big terror attack last week, and things have just sort of escalated since then. We haven't talked about this yet. I didn't think it would be that big of a deal. But for a little primer here, this is an AP report about the terror attack that happened last week.
A deadly gun attack in the disputed Kashmir region has spiked tensions between India and Pakistan, raising fears of an armed conflict between the two enemies. Both countries have nuclear weapons, but these are intended to stop wars, not start them. India has a no first use policy, meaning it will not use nuclear weapons first. Pakistan hasn't ruled out using nuclear weapons if it feels its existence is under threat.
Jeez.
But it can't afford to take on India. India is bigger, richer, and more powerful, and Pakistan has already lost 3 conventional wars against its neighbour. However, what Pakistan has done is call international attention to this crisis by saying a military attack by India is imminent. It hasn't presented any evidence, and it put a deadline saying that it could happen within 24 to 36 hours. That time has now passed, and there's still no sign of retaliation from India. There's growing concern among the international community that the situation could get even more out of hand.
All right, so that was from the AP. Let's ask our foreign policy expertise, Dr. Jeffrey Brodeur. He's got expertise in chemical, biological, radiological, nuclear weapons. Rigaku Analytical Devices is his day job, but he's going to help us out there. So the 36-hour deadline passed. Nothing happened. Are we done with this?
Are you referring to Pakistan and India?
Yes.
Yeah, so same movie, different day is the way I would describe it. Both countries have a relationship with the United States, and they can't afford to use a nuclear weapon. India has a unique characteristic in that they have a nuclear weapon and never signed the nuclear non-proliferation treaty. U.S. has sort of turned a blind eye to that because we want them to be their friend, and they are a good ally. No, I think what we're doing is rattling our sabers and beating our chest here. The challenge, though, is that you have 2 nuclear powers that are on the same chessboard, and, you know, we don't want egos to prevail. We need a third party to sort of diffuse this thing. It started out April 22nd with a terrorist attack coming from Pakistan in terms of the open source material into the Indian sort of area, governed area of Kashmir, which is sort of an anomaly. It's a state, non-state. It's neither of the above. It's between Pakistan and India. Neither one of them really want it, but they do kind of want it when they want it. And so it'll be just fine. This is not going to end up in a nuclear war. I don't think there are enough adults in the room in terms of the international community that'll settle this down.
Well, my entire life, Dr. Brodeur, I have been expecting the people of Kashmir to go to the ballot box and vote on whether or not they want to be a part of Pakistan or India. And that vote has always been dangled in front of the face like it's going to happen. And it never has. What's up with that?
Yeah, that's a good political question. It's sort of outside of my lane. I can't comment on that. I will just tell you that, we sort of have the same problem with Puerto Rico, right?
Yeah, that's probably a good comparison, although we're not fighting with another country for them. That's a weird homeostasis that they've put themselves in. And so every time I go read on this, it is on a fairly regular basis that there's a shooting war. There's, hot bullets flying across that border. And it seems so odd that it never flares up into anything big, but it's been so consistently violent.
Yeah, for decades, really. Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. It's all small arms. And it was actually the national security justification for India to proceed with their nuclear weapons program. And they've got an inventory. They have a doctrine. It's militarized. It would not be a good day for Pakistan if India decided to unleash all the military muscle that they've got. They would put up a good fight. India would they would likely succeed, but I don't think either one of them really wants it. I think the nuclear weapon is just sort of a poker playing card to get the opponent to sort of back down, if you will.
Well, I mean, does Pakistan have a chance to beat India in a war no matter what?
You know what? I think Pakistan would run out of bullets before India would run out of people.
Right, because they're so outnumbered.
Yeah.
However, they have the past connection with Bangladesh on the other side. And if you add up those two countries, it doesn't equal India just yet, but we're talking 450 million people or so. That'd be bigger than the United States, the combined effort of Bangladesh and Pakistan. Could they come up with an ally or two and actually challenge India?
That's an interesting question. I think the powers that be that counter the United States, read that as Russia, Iran, North Korea, China, which...
Yep.
Right. We talked about a couple of Chinese soldiers involved in Ukraine, and they've actually done interviews and published those online, so we can confirm that. But I think they would come to the aid, but I don't know that it would be much of a fight. Honestly, the U.S. has a closer relationship with India than Pakistan. Our navies exercise together on a regular basis. Our federal governments exchange information regularly on a basis. In terms of this match, honestly, I don't think it's going to come to a nuclear war. But I think India's got the upper hand, right, no matter how you address this.
And they do such a good job helping us fix our computers and whatnot. We're continuing with Dr. Jeffrey Brodeur from Rigaku. He's an expert in chemical, biological, radiological, and nuclear. And moving through the foreign policy scene, what's the latest on the mineral deal with Ukraine? Because I feel like that is going to be packaged with the Ukraine-Russia ceasefire. Like, you can't really get one without the other. So if we're going to get a mineral deal, I feel like this thing might wrap itself up.
Yeah, no, that's a good comparison. And it was signed yesterday. And here's my analogy to you. If you're a college freshman, would you order your class ring? Probably not, but that's what we've really done. We're expecting that there's going to be a ceasefire and then a peace deal to allow the U.S. and companies to go in and explore mineral rights in Ukraine.
So why did we have to have a war before Ukraine would cut us a deal on mineral rights?
It has nothing to do with it has nothing to do with the business practices of Ukraine. That's a polite way of saying that, the Biden family are beneficiaries of that sort of process. I think our president wanted to go in with a mineral rights deal initially to recoup some of the $500 billion that we invested in military aid. And hold Ukraine responsible for paying us back. There's got to be something in it for the taxpayers for supporting Ukraine's independence. But honestly, as I take a look at the battlefield, Ukraine does not have the upper hand, and Putin is not going to stop, and he's not going to sign a ceasefire or peace deal until he's positioned to the military advantage.
So what is Ukraine's incentive to keep going in this? Because it seems like if they have a chance to quit, that they should.
Yeah, they're on life support. I agree.
Right. Well, I don't see any way they win this. You're going to have to give up something. You're not going to beat Russia in a land war. They have too much resources and population and military over you. And we're not just going to keep pumping this up when it's not even a winnable situation.
My assessment is Putin will continue to send soldiers into Ukraine until Ukraine runs out of bullets.
Agreed. All right, let's move on to the next hot spot we have going on, the Iran Houthi stuff that's all tied together. Have they stopped shooting at ships that are passing through?
No, and they're making their targets every day. Department of Defense has unleashed, to the 10th degree, Air Force and naval power to target and neutralize the entire al-Houthi infrastructure, and they're doing an amazing job. They've probably done 4 years of work in about 3 weeks.
Well, look at that.
They're doing a great job. So, if the Secretary of Defense is listening right now, from Jeff to you, pat on the back. You're doing a great job. And to our armed services, thank you very much for keeping us safe.
Well, I had the weird headline float through my social media about the airplane that just fell off the deck into, what was that, the Red Sea last week?
Yeah, and as a former soldier, a retired soldier, I could make a Navy joke out of this, but I won't. It's understandable when you have an aircraft carrier that is banking hard one direction or another, a hard left or a hard right, trying to mitigate the aim point from an al-Houthi missile. And somebody forgets to chain down one of the fighter aircraft, and it slips overboard. It appears to me, based on everything that I've read, to be just a casualty of combat. Not necessarily anybody's fault or a mistake.
Well, here's the cute part of it was the Houthis claimed that their drone attacks had knocked a fighter jet off the aircraft. But your story sounds like Jeff didn't pull the emergency brake before he got out of the cockpit.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, good on El Houthi for coming up with a campaign plan and information management plan. But no. I mean, that was a nice try, but next page, please.
Well, it's just, how would a swarm of drones knock a F-18 fighter jet off the deck of the Harry S. Truman?
So I don't know that that's feasible.
Exactly.
The U.S. Navy has got an array of counter-drone measures, active and passive defense. Fighter aircraft are nimble when they're in the air. I don't understand. I guess if everybody was asleep on the deck, but that doesn't happen. I mean, I love the Army, and the Navy is a great supporter of the Navy. I'm the Army, but I've never known them to be asleep on the job. They're professionals, and they're great at what they do. It
doesn't even sound like it's physically possible. Like drones knocking a jet off of aircraft carrier. Clearly a made-up story, so I'm glad you backed that up. Dr. Jeffrey Brodeur from Rigaku, I appreciate your expertise. Thank you for doing an extra segment with me today, sir.
Good day, sir. I appreciate you.
All right. All right, boy, we covered a whole lot there. If you want to see more of what Dr. Jeffrey Brodeur does, it's RIGAKU, Rigaku Analytical Devices. I have two more bad stories here, and I do not delight in this. I just want to stress the context that I don't do this every day, but I could do this every day. The first one is out of Odessa. There's a guy on the staff. He's not technically a teacher. He's a security guard. Now, in Odessa, there's a public charter school serving kindergarten through 8th grade students. And so this is where it just gets plain nasty. You know, there's there's almost the exciting stories about some 18-year-old guy who hooks up with like a 23-year-old teacher, and it's creepy and it's gross, and it's kind of a weird crossing of lines there, but it almost has like a fun little Stacy's mom sort of vibe to it. But when you're talking about middle school, now it's just gross, and this guy just needs to get thrown in the wood chipper. In fact, we haven't had to fire up the wood chipper for a minute. Y'all got it? There he goes. Yeah, Mike Traina had to go get some gas for it because we ran out earlier. But just throw him in the wood chipper. Maurice, there you go. All right, we'll get a new security guard for this charter school. But this one's terrible because it's 5 counts of sexual assault of a child. 1 count of improper relationship between educator and student, but that's just kind of what's put on top of it. 6 felony charges, but he's 31 years old. This was a repeated thing. This happened on more than one occasion. It wasn't just like one time this guy got a little handsy with a kid. There seems to be some sort of ongoing, repeated relationship. And man, some people just can't get to hell fast enough, can they? Good Lord. And then the other one, this is even weirder. This is an Austin area teacher. And I know usually we make jokes about Austin, but this isn't funny. This is a situation where a teacher is accused of taking pictures of his children. All I know is they're under the age of 14. I don't know how old these people are. I just know that the charge says under the age of 14. He has thousands of photos of his female students, and he takes them, he puts them through an AI filter and turns them into basically AI created porn. Now, I guess the most libertine out there could be like, well, this is a victimless crime. Now, my libertarianness starts at this one. Fire up the wood chipper for this guy, too. I know you didn't actually hurt anybody. I know you didn't actually touch anybody. But you're sick, and the world would be better off without you. Into the wood chipper you go. So now I got to worry about that. You got to worry about people getting pictures of your kids, even if they're not dirty pictures or suggestive pictures. It could be pictures of them fully clothed, and they can take them and they can roll them through these AI programs and, I don't know, take their clothes off or make them do other things. Boy, 2025 has some really cool things. I'm looking forward to getting my first drone delivery from Walmart. But this stuff is just evil and nasty and just terrible when you put it in the context of what are we trying to get out of libraries right now? Sexual related content? I mean, they try and make it like a gay or a trans issue, but I don't think anyone cares about the gay or trans part of it. I don't want teachers having secret sex talks, even in the heterosexual angle, with kids. Especially elementary and middle school kids, you nasty people. The devil is everywhere, including our schools. All right, that's going to about do it for the James Show today. Sorry to leave you on such a gross note, but as a parent, this is the kind of stuff that just stops me in my tracks, and I'm like, they've got to hear about this one. So keep an eye out there. In the meantime, if you need more James Show action, I'm about to get out of here, go put up the podcast. If you want the Rhino list, let me know. Send me an email, james@wbap.com. I'll be happy to send you the list of turncoat Republicans in the State House and the map where their districts are to see if you're in it. I'm looking for a venue for the next James Show listener meet and greet, where you can meet me and really, more importantly, meet each other. Or for half of you, meet Samantha. Get over it, people. But just let me know. Same contact information at james@wbap.com, or I get more messages than anything else by people just finding James Parker on Facebook. So thank you very much for hanging out today. I'll see you again tomorrow for the Great Friday Show, where we're going to have Allen West is going to be on the show with some last-minute tips. Give it up for the former Congressman, Lieutenant Colonel Allen West. He's got some last-minute advice before you go into Saturday's local elections. So come on back tomorrow. I'm James Parker. This has been The James Show, News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3.